Omar dissipates in the Atlantic Ocean. Tropical storm Nana crosses over Belize and becomes Tropical storm Julio. And we are watching 4 different invests in the Atlantic Ocean today. Oh yes, my friends, welcome back. September 6, 2020, 1:19 p.m. And really quick, right off the bat, we had Tropical Storm Nana down by the Yucatan Peninsula just about a day and a half ago, and now that storm has crossed over the threshold of that landmass by the Yucatan Peninsula into the Pacific Ocean. It has become Tropical Storm Julio for the Pacific Ocean, as you can see right here. We are at 45-mile-an-hour sustained winds, 1,003 millibars in pressure. The reason I'm pointing this out is because it is an interesting situation how Nana was down here, like I said, by the Yucatan Peninsula in Belize. You can see right about here is where it crossed in, and it popped up on the other side in the Pacific Ocean. And because the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean use different names each season, it has switched over to letter J, which is the next letter on the alphabet or the hurricane list for the Pacific Ocean. So I just wanted to clear that up for some people. And also Omar, Hurricane Omar, Tropical Storm Omar, and Tropical Depression Omar is now past the remnants phase and has dissipated completely. We won't have any more National Hurricane Center updates on Omar. That has come and gone. Our next letter is P for Paulette. That is the next named storm we will be receiving, probably sooner than later too. Okay, let's check out the areas being watched today. We have the Atlantic Ocean as a whole right here. We do have the 2 big invests, 92L and 93L right behind. You can see that right here. Here's 92L. Here's 93L. If you guys remember, we had 91L, which was a yellow 10 to 20% chance of cyclone formation, kind of dissipated, and then we said it would be replaced by this one, which it has done, 93L, and we are going to see 94L sooner than later as well, within the next day or two. And based on the data we have today, I'm fairly confident that we are going to see that third invest sooner than later. I don't really see either of these two really becoming an issue. We're still going to talk about them quick. Disturbance number 10, 10% chance of cyclone formation over the next 2 days and the next 5 days. So a new area of being watched currently. We could check this out on the radar as well. We're kind of looking down in this area south of Haiti and Dominican Republic, maybe a little more to the west underneath Cuba and Jamaica. So we see a little bit of counterclockwise spin starting there. The whole area is kind of going in a counterclockwise spin, which is aiding in this storm developing a little more. And then we have that other invest up here, and it's kind of being shown that it wants to travel west into the United States from the Atlantic Ocean. That is based on the big Bermuda Atlantic pressure bubble in the Atlantic finally shifting back to the west, which is going to push our 2 main invests down and to the west, if that makes sense. So picture this high bubble here. You can see it kind of rolling in to the Atlantic Ocean once again, and what that's going to do is force down more than likely these 2 invest, or at least one may come up at a little shallow angle, but for now that invest that's right off the coast of the U.S., as you can see right here, disturbance number 4 is moving towards the U.S. rather than away from it, and that is why, because we're seeing that pressure bubble come, the Bermuda Atlantic pressure bubble come and affect the movement of that storm. So that's why we don't really know exactly what's going to go on. It's an overall counterclockwise spin in the entire tropical area all the way up to Florida, and then we have the 2 invest out here. So we'll keep an eye on these 2 20% and the 10% invest, disturbance 4 and 3, and then we have 1 and 2, which are the 2 big ones that we should be focusing on. And that's what we're going to do right now. I have the GEM or the CMC model, the Canadian model pulled up, the European model, and the GFS. We looked at these yesterday. We're going to check them out again today and see what they have these invests doing. As you can see, I'm set up for September 6th. That is today. So we have 92L right here. You're going to see 93L, and then you're going to see why I believe 94L is right on its heels. So we're going to move forward here on the Canadian model, and we could see by September 11th we have 1,002 millibars with invest 92L, 93L, and then there's the beginning of 94L in my opinion. So we'll finish out the chart here and see where it brings us. You can kind of see how the pressure kind of pulls back a little more, the Bermuda Atlantic pressure, which allows this storm to come up to the north. That is why these storms either turn north early or they get pushed down south and they continue west while that pressure bubble covers the entire Atlantic Ocean. It's not doing that currently, so these storms naturally want to hook up to the north in the northern hemisphere. And according to the Canadian model, this wants to wrap around the high pressure and kind of be a no big deal type of situation for the U.S. Still worth worth naming because these storms may be named anytime we get under 1,000 millibars in pressure. That's a fairly strong storm. The European model, a little bit different in their projections on these storms, and it's very interesting. So we're going to go ahead and check these out as well. We could see Invest 92L, you'll see 93, and you'll certainly see 94, which hasn't been named yet, but I'm just going to move forward here. Clearly, we could see the 3 Invest right now. This is what was used in the thumbnail. We have 1, 2, and 3, and check out which of these 3 wants to take off. There we go, 988, 1006, 1008 by September 14th. We're looking about a week into the future now. What we're looking for here are common patterns. And when we take the European model, we could see that by the time the 16th rolls around, or even the 15th or 14th, we have this line of storms here with a high pressure bubble in the middle of the Atlantic. And we could see how they're wrapping around it in a counterclockwise motion. And because of the pressure being closer to the U.S. this time, you see these storms want to continue west towards the U.S. If you remember in the Canadian model, the pressure released a little sooner, allowing the storms to hook into the Atlantic Ocean before becoming an issue to the U.S. And now when we check out the GFS model, you're going to see similarities to the European model. So the Europeans and the GFS model both have situations where the United States is at risk, and the Canadian model right now is showing these 3 disturbances as being basically a non-issue based on the pressure in the Atlantic Ocean. I hope you guys can all follow that. If you need to, please rewind and listen to it again. I know it's a lot of information at once, but it's certainly worth talking about and certainly worth knowing. Okay, so back to the European model, we can kind of see as we backtrack what the path may be for these 3 Invests. I'm saying 3 because we're certainly going to have that 94L Invest coming out soon. We have 92, 93, and we will have 94. These 2 are the ones we are looking at right here off the east coast of South Africa and the Cape Verde Islands right here. So finally, let's check out the GFS. Now you're going to see similarities with the GFS and the Euro, as we could see the 2 Invests right here, 92L, 93L, 94 about to pop off on the side. And then we move forward, and then we have kind of in between what we saw with the CMC and the Europeans. We have a little bit of that jump to the north with the first Invest, and then it kind of gets pushed to the west even more because that high pressure continues to build up and maneuver more into the Bermuda Atlantic bubble. And we push forward, and that is the end of our data for the GFS, putting both of these, all 3 of these storms actually in a line just like the GFS. So we move forward with the GFS, and you kind of get that line there. And then we have the line a little more straight, a little more lined up with the equator, and then the CMC is almost a vertical line. So between all 3 of these charts, we almost have a little bit of everything to look forward to. So the next 7 days are going to be very key. I do believe 1, if not 2 of these Invests will become significant storms. Again, I don't think we have to worry about these 2. We will keep an eye on them, absolutely. There is plenty more to look forward to as far as storm watchers. Things that you don't want is to have to prepare for a storm. It's very unfortunate situations. You spend money you don't need to be spending, but it's a safety tip, and it's important, especially if you live near the coast, to keep an eye on all this information. As you can see, guys, I'm going to be showing this chart over the next couple weeks because we are officially at peak hurricane season for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. September 6th, you can see the 10th is basically peak season. So on either side of that, either if it's the 6th or the 14th, we are basically right in the middle of that situation now. So expect some big storms coming up with just about 60% of the action of hurricane season left to go, and we are just beginning the first week of September. I want to thank you all for tuning in and continuing to watch these videos. I enjoy putting this info out for all of you. If you have not done so yet, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Every little bit helps to spread the news that we need to get to our friends, whether it's in Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, the Leeward Islands, anywhere outside the U.S., including the U.S. Obviously, U.S. landfalls are most important, being that I live there, and a Northeast landfall. It's been a while since we had one of those, so we will see what happens. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have a good day. I will be back later on this afternoon if need be, if not tomorrow morning, and things are going to start heating up with this group of storms we have heading towards the U.S. Thank you all so much. Shout out to Canada, especially Ontario. Take care. Bye.